So, hey guys, I'm coming to you from editing. So, I have been meaning to edit this video since I shot it like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. And I had sat down to eat and I put on YouTube and saw that Roots and Refuge has posted a video like 9 hours ago. Probably 10 hours ago at this point, because I went through to edit this video because I thought it was hilarious. The video that she posted was of her shelling peas and having like a chat, and I just stopped it so that way I could edit the video. I haven't even watched her video yet. But I thought it was hilarious because it reminded me that I had a pea shelling video where I'm shelling cowpeas and chatting about the garden, the farm life type stuff, which, I mean, we don't really have a farm. We have a garden, we have chickens, we have ducks. Like, it's kind of like a little homestead. We're not quite there yet. But I thought it was hilarious because I sat there chatting with you guys while shelling cowpeas the other day. And that is what her video was about. So it just reminded me. And I thought it was hilarious. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hi everybody. Welcome back to my channel. You're in a bucket. I'm not shucking, it's not corn. I'm doing whatever this is. I can't remember. I used the word earlier. Shelling. I am shelling cowpeas. You know, I just wanted to share. I was watching, I'm literally just paused it. It's actually almost over. A Roots and Refuge video because she was talking about how, you know, my brain just left me, but she was talking about something and it really just struck me. And I was thinking, you know, earlier in the year, or even like last year, I didn't think I would be doing this. I didn't think that I would be in a place where I'm sitting in my living room shelling peas. Cowpeas. Like, I just did not think I would be doing that. And I'm sorry about this angle. It's a very terrible angle, but I had nowhere else to put my phone. I just lost another cowpea to the chair. I'll look for it in a minute. It's not the first one I've lost down there tonight. Like, it is almost 11 o'clock at night. And I am shelling these cowpeas. It's very relaxing. And it's pretty nice ASMR, to be honest. But I didn't think, you know, that this is where I'd be. And it makes me really happy because, you know, we're coming up on September and the majority of the stuff in my garden has gotten really crispy. I'm not just talking about the cowpeas. There went another one. I'm talking about like the tomatoes and stuff like that, and my squash and zucchini is gone to squash bugs. I got it. And my tomatoes I'm at the point of like washing my hands of the tomatoes. I was out there pulling out some that got really crispy. And there was a lot of just like hornworm damage, and I pulled out a couple more today that had hornworm damage, and this one's still a little too moist. So I actually found 2 hornworms on one tomato plant that I pulled out earlier, and just took care of those. But I've got like pumpkins and stuff that are out there. I've actually got some watermelon out there that's doing pretty good. I've got green beans that somehow are still just chucking along, producing green beans. My scarlet runner beans, if you guys saw the last video, I started by telling you guys that they had been blooming for like a couple months now and hadn't produced anything, but they're finally starting to produce stuff. And I've got my loofahs producing, my green striped pumpkins are producing. I've got birdhouse gourds that are looking really nice. And I've still got a bunch of okra coming in. My burgundy okra has not set anything yet. As of like 2 days ago. My Star of David okra, that is so good, but I actually started letting a good bit of that go so that way I can collect seeds from it, because I used almost all of the seeds when I planted them. You guys keep falling. Let me see if I can fix you. There we go. There'll be a couple cowpeas in the way. But I'm really like the Star of David okra, so I'm wanting to save seeds, so I let almost all of those plants go. They have a lot of okra pods on there they got huge, like huge, absolutely huge. Now the smaller ones that it was setting, I did cut off the other day, and I'm still letting the very large ones go, so that way I can save the seeds from them. My glass gem corn, it kind of it produced corn, and I've got some really pretty ones in there that I'm just gonna save it for seed. And then I've got other like sweet corn that I planted for the chickens that really didn't get any taller than like my toddler. Like they are not tall at all, and they're really not producing anything, so those were kind of a flop. And then I have the Chinese red noodle beans that I'm just letting those go to seed. I ate them like twice, and I wasn't the biggest fan of them, but I decided to let them go to seed, and we'll give seed from that to friends of mine that are either have farms or are starting to garden. Like my best friend, I gave her a good bit of cowpeas a couple weeks ago, just from where I've been getting these pods that are ripe and crunchy, and just, randomly been shelling them. All the ones that I have right now, I've been shelling into this bucket. I'm sorry if it's echoing, but these are the amount that I have from just pulling off these pods whenever they got crispy. Just pulling off a few here and there. But I went out there today and I pulled out maybe a quarter to a third of these pods. Like this 5-gallon bucket worth of pods. And then my niece helped me pull off another third of this bucket. So I probably had a good 3.5 to 4 gallons full of cowpeas. And, that's them in this before they're shelled. So I will show you guys how much there is when I'm done. That's something I want to finish before I go to bed. Even though this is like super relaxing for me, but I'm just dropping all these cowpeas. That's actually one reason I'm doing it into the bucket. Because every time I try and do it into that little container that I just showed you, they go flying everywhere. And even trying to shell them into this bucket, they're going flying like they're trying to, you know, go out of orbit. But I just wanted to get on here and make a little chatty video because I never really do those anymore. Did you see that? Did you see that? Just like, I'm losing so many of them to the chair. And, you know, you guys are probably like, oh my goodness, they're falling in the chair and you just keep throwing them in here. They're going to get washed or soaked before they're eaten. And a good bit of these I'm probably actually going to use soon to replant an entire bed this time full of cowpeas. So that way I get another harvest of these before the frost comes. Because where I'm at, our frost isn't until like November. So still got a couple months before it joins us. We're having almost 100-degree days. It's a lot. That's one reason the garden is just crispy. An update on the duck. So, the one duck that is the surviving duck of the little dog attack, which wasn't really like an attack. It was a bird dog. You know, bird dogs have it in their DNA to hunt birds. So, I just lost another one that was still in the shell. So the duck is still doing fine, but it turns out that Daisy is not Daisy. Daisy is Dewey. So my mom was joking before, because of the fact that my ducks' names were Daisy and Donald because they were white ducks with the orange beaks like Daisy and Donald are in, you know, Disney and stuff. So I had named them Daisy and Donald, and my mom was saying, you know, if we get some more, because we had gotten more ducks, but they were different kind. They're Rowan and Cayunga, and my mom was like, well, you could always name them Dewey, Huey, and Louie. And then we were like, well, they don't really look like them, so we ended up having enough ducks to name them after the cast of The Big Bang Theory. So I have Sheldon and Amy. Those are the two Cayungas, and two of the Rowans I have is Howard and Bernadette, and then my mom has Raj, Penny, and Leonard. Even though I have Raj at my house at the moment because I thought it was a male, and I wanted to bring it over to see how my ducks reacted to it. So it's still here right now, and all of those shells just landed on me. But the minute I put it in there, Daisy, which is Dewey, decided to try to mate it. So I sent a video of it to my friend who has a farm, and she was like, yeah, Daisy's not a daisy. So my mom's gonna be getting that one duck back. Not 100% sure whether it's male or female yet because they're not old enough to know that. But when I find out, it'll be an update. I just lost another one. It's amazing how many of these I'm actually like missing peas in, and they end up still in the shell. That one was in the shell and it fell out when those other ones fell. Let me move this. There we go. So Daisy is now Dewey. Just farm life. Cleo, my rooster, which I've showed before, absolutely loved him. Like, he was my favorite. Is going to have to go to the freezer camp because he's an aggressive rooster, like very aggressive, was attacking me, was attacking my dad. It got to the point where I was afraid to go into the coop because every time he would try to attack, and he made me bleed a few times, like cutting open the back of my knee and everything. So once they started laying eggs, and they were laying eggs down in the bottom of the coop, and I would have to go in there and like bend down. I wear glasses, but I was still afraid that he would get like my face and stuff, and maybe cause some damage. So he was moved to a separate area, and at the moment I'm just working on trying to fatten him up a little bit so that way he's a decent meal. And because he is not the type of rooster that I will give to anybody else because he's just too aggressive. And now I have a few more roosters. I have one of his siblings, which is a barnyard mix, like he is. Rhode Island Red Dad. Don't know what the mom is for any of them. You can kind of guess out of the list of hens that the guy that I bought them off of him said they were. But at this point, I just, Rhode Island Red Dad, question mark for a mom. His sibling, Cleo's sibling, is Henry, which I thought was Henrietta. See a theme here? I thought Cleo was a girl and named him Cleopatra. And then Henry thought he was a girl, Henrietta. He's crowing and trying to mate the hens, so not a female. He's sweet. He's an absolute sweetheart. Like, I can pick him up and just pet him and everything else. But my Americana rooster, Mr. Mutton Chops, he's got like the mutton chops. He is absolutely a sweetheart. Like, absolutely. I could pick him up, pet him, and then I went to put him down one day, and you know how, usually if you go to put a bird down, it like flies. Now he just flopped straight to the ground. He was so comfortable, and I felt so bad. But he's sweet. Like, he is a sweetheart. And I have another rooster, which is a black sex link. I'd gotten a bunch of chickens on sale from Tractor Supply, and a few things happened, and I lost all but one of them over time. So, farm life, things that happen. So he's in with the rest of the chickens right now, and he was supposed to go in the freezer, but at this point, since I have two black sex link females, I don't know if I'm just going to keep him as a rooster, separate him, and mate him with the other black sex links to be able to have pure, they're not really purebred because they're Rhode Island Reds and Barred Rock mix, but to kind of have like the pure black sex links without them mixed with like Americana or barnyard mix. I apparently pulled off a few flowers, so I don't know if I'm going to do that. That's a discussion that I have to have with my husband and figure it out. Currently I have 21 eggs in the incubator. I had a hen that went broody, and I I think I messed with her too much because she ended up not staying on the eggs. So I pulled them out, and since the hens had been laying on them, I borrowed an incubator from my brother and put the eggs in there. So I have 21 eggs in the incubator, and I checked them the other day. I think I checked them on day 4 of them being in the incubator, and 5 or 6 of them, I think they were all actually like bluish green eggs, that didn't look like they were forming, but there was a couple that you could see the heart beating in the egg, which is one of the coolest things. Like, one of my brothers, not the brother I borrowed it from, but one of my brothers had an incubator when we were teenagers, and he tried like hatching chickens, and he was only able to get one to hatch, which it didn't make it very long. So I didn't like experience that a lot as a teenager. It was just that one experience. But another one of my brothers has an incubator, and I called him and I was like, hey, I had a broody hen that was sitting and she's not sitting anymore, and I don't want these eggs to like go to waste. Can I borrow the incubator? So he said, yeah. I went over and borrowed it. I got to see his pig. He got a pig. And I put them in there that night that I got the incubator off of him. So far, I've got like a 75% rate. I have to check the eggs again and see. I'll probably do that in a few days. See if maybe the blue eggs, maybe it was just too hard to see the chick forming, but I will check it again. And if I don't see anything in the eggs, then I'll take them out and discard them. So that way no bacteria or anything gets to the other eggs, because I know that is a possibility. I am all new to this. Like, we raised some chickens when I was younger, but they all usually turned out to be roosters, and we ended up taking them to like a farm auction. And I mostly raised rabbits as a teenager, so actually like breeding chickens and doing stuff like that, and ducks, because I don't remember having ducks. That's all new to me too. So it's a learning process and a learning curve, and I'm excited for all of it. I really am excited to just be able to do this process, and it's a good learning experience for my girls too, to be able to, like, my kids get to watch this, they get to learn this, they get to grow up with a skill that is lost to so many people. And just having those chicks in the incubator, like, I was candling them the other day with my kids right there, and my oldest was just so fascinated by it and giddy and everything else to be able to see the veins and the heartbeat on one of them. And it's amazing, because I get to, instead of having the chickens on there, like, I get to have it in the house and get to watch the process more closely, even though, you know, an incubator isn't as natural as having a hen lay on the eggs. But, you know, it's a good learning experience for all of us, actually. My husband was pretty fascinated at the heartbeat and the veins too and stuff, because he wasn't, like, he didn't experience this growing up, like raising chickens and stuff like that. And I just think it's great for all of us, and it's amazing to see God's creation and how he, you know, designed things, and to see a chicken grow from like start to finish when you put the egg in the incubator, and then 4 days later you can see a heartbeat on the chicken, and the little tiny shape of the chicken, and how at day 21 you have a full baby chick. It's amazing. I'm completely in awe. And I know it probably doesn't look like I am, but I'm super tired. So I'm just like, in this, I'm relaxed. Oh, it's amazing. It's just one of those nice, repetitive, relaxing things, because I get to hear the sound of this. And I know currently at the moment I'm hearing the sound of my own voice, because even though I'm making this video and talking to you guys, it's essentially like you're talking to yourself. When you make the video and nobody else is in the room. Which it's okay. It's fine. I can talk. Sometimes I like to talk. So I just think it's pretty cool to get to witness all this, because it's not just, ooh, I caught that one with my arm. It's not just getting to see the life of a chicken start when you put it in the incubator. It's also planting a seed and watching it grow as well, because a plant is alive too. It breathes. It takes in nutrients. It produces. Like, I took one of these seeds out of a seed packet. Actually, I took multiple, but bear with me. I took one of these seeds out of a seed packet. I soaked it overnight, or for a few hours. I planted it in the ground. It grew a big bushy plant. That plant produced pods. One seed produced many, many, many of these pods. And one pod, like this one pod right here, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This one pod had 14 seeds in it. 14 little cowpeas. Just one pod can produce 14 more plants. Granted, if it's 100% germination. And it's just amazing to see the life cycle of not just chickens, not just ducks, not just, you know, dogs and stuff like that you have on a farm. I don't have anything other than those right now. I mean, I've got cats. But, you know, to also see plants do that same thing. And then there's plants that I didn't even plant this year. The compost that I bought from the garden center, they had thrown stuff in there that volunteered this year. I had multiple volunteer tomato plants, and to be honest, out of the tomato plants that I started, I probably got more big tomatoes off of the volunteers than I did off of the multiple varieties that I intentionally planted, which I had a lot of problems with my seed starting mix, and it stunted the growth of my tomatoes and my peppers. Like, I really didn't even get any peppers this year, which is unfortunate because I like peppers, which I like tomatoes too. But, you know, I got more like big tomatoes to slice. You know, I got a good bit of paste tomatoes, and I got a ton of cherry tomatoes that I intentionally planted. But out of like the slicer tomatoes, I got more off of the volunteers. And then I had volunteer basil. Like I said, my seed starting mix like had something wrong with it. It was way too woody and everything else, and I think it just caused the growth of my plants to be stunted severely. And I ended up having lemon basil and another type of basil. I think it might have been dark opal. I'm not 100% sure. I showed it in my garden tour video. I'm not 100% sure what it is because I didn't plant it. It's a volunteer. And I'm new to herbs and everything. So I really don't know what kind it is. The lemon one, I know it's lemon because it smells like lemons. But it's just amazing to see how, you know, things want to grow. And even stuff that I didn't plant, you know, the life cycle continues from the compost. From the person who threw it in there originally to compost it and turn it into dirt. And the seed stayed in there and gave me food. Like, it's just amazing how all of that works, how God created it, and it just, everything wants to thrive, and everything wants to live, and everything wants to grow. So there was my garden chat video for you guys. I am almost done with these cowpeas. I really am. And it's getting late, and I still actually have some Bible study stuff that I have to do for today. So I am going to get off of here and just a minute so that way I can go do that. One of my goals really was to get these done like this because I wanted to see how many I got, and I just obsessively am shelling peas. It's just something I really wanted to do, and I'm doing it. That crunch, though, that crunch is absolutely amazing. Like, I cannot get over how satisfying it is to listen to this just crunch. Now, where am I putting all this stuff? On this table, on the side of the chair, and it has fallen off into the floor. And am I going to clean it up tonight? No. I'm not going to clean that up tonight, but I'll clean it up tomorrow. It's not like it's got liquid all over the place. It's just some dry shells. But listen to that. It's so amazing. I just hope that this 30-minute long video that I've made isn't super echoey because you guys are sitting in the bottom of an almost empty 5-gallon bucket. And I also want to apologize for all the angles that this camera has been in because they have not been flattering and you have not been able to see a lot. Like, the majority of the time, I think the bucket was blocking like half of the screen or half of the camera. So I just have a few more of these to do, but I'm going to turn you guys around and I'm going to show you the amount of cowpeas. And yes, that is a mannequin. That is a lot. But I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.